demanded action, and now it's time for the financial sector to deliver. To reach net zero, every country, every company, every bank, every investor, every pension fund around the world will need to make some big changes. In the run-up to COP26 in Glasgow, we have an enormous opportunity to bring climate change into the heart of every financial decision. And our plan will manage the risks from climate change while helping to seize the opportunities from a newer, greener economy. The UK has been at the forefront of innovation for centuries, brimming with ingenuity and a can-do spirit. It also houses the world's largest financial system. And by bringing them together, we can deliver the net zero world that you've demanded and that our future generations deserve. Skepticism about ESG labels or sustainable labels, and that again is one of the reasons we're having this ruthless, relentless focus on net zero, because in the end, look, we can't stabilize the climate unless we get to net zero, and it's a simple, these are hard numbers. Your emissions are either A or B, they're going up or down, and if they're going down, are they going down consistent with the science? We anchor it in the science, the same science the UN and others use for the 1.5 degree objectives.
So that's the guy that managed to win in the Canadian elections. If you always wondered, like, how would America be like if Kamala Harris would have won? Well, now you're going to know. You know, you can see the Northern American horror show, as I like to call it. So, as you can witness here, the main complaint of Gen Z is affordability and cost of living. Like, you have a first world nation, a country that by all accounts should have a robust economy, a country with a strong tradition, a powerful nation at the end of the day, where 38% of young people are actually worried that they can't afford the cost of living. Like, I just want you to understand, right? Like, here in Eastern Europe, even in my country, that's a lot smaller, this is probably not even one of the top 5 concerns of the voters. Like, it's a given. It's like, yeah, buying food. Of course we'll buy food. Like, no one even thinks that this may be an issue. But if you go on TikTok, if you go on Twitter, if you go on social media, there's a lot of videos with chicks in cars sparking out. Like, there's so many of them, you probably see them, right? Like, there's a chick standing in a car, and she's basically worried that she can't make rent anymore. Despite the fact that she's got a job, despite the fact that she's working really hard, she's doing everything she can, and she still can't pay the rent, she still can't, you know, she's worried about the electricity bill and the groceries. In fucking Canada! In fucking Canada, of all places! And this was before Trump. Like, we're not talking about Orange Man bad here, like, this was happening before the Trump. And so, who's to blame? Are the Canadian people to blame? Like, all of a sudden, they changed their culture dramatically? Well, if they changed their culture dramatically, then blame the universities and the NGOs, right? Like, who decides what culture is? It's usually the elites. Very rarely do people ground up decide the new culture. Like, it's usually, you know, people from the academia. They write the papers, and then the people at the TV tell the people what to believe and what to think, right? So, like, if this is a shift in culture that brought upon this calamity, well, start firing university professors or replace them. Well, start looking at the mainstream media, like what happened? Or maybe it's the politicians, right? Where do the politicians know these things? Well, from their experts. Why aren't you fighting them, right? Or maybe this is actually working as intended. I mean, usually, right, when people are worried about the affordability and the cost of living, it's probably the middle and the lower class, you know, like maybe the upper class is actually doing quite fine. And if they're doing quite fine, it means they're grifting. And if they're grifting, you should vote them out. But that's not what happens. What's happening is that they voted for more of the same. And so I gotta say, you know, brilliant move for getting rid of Justin Trudeau. Like, he is the scapegoat, right? Like, the entire party is the one that sets policies, and they got rid of Justin Trudeau as a scapegoat. And, you know, I'm not going to lie, Donald Trump actually got these people elected. I'm not going to lie, I don't enjoy seeing Canadians and Americans hating each other, and they are hating each other. Like, I go on social media, like, the hate is now there. And I got friends that are Americans, I got friends that are Canadians. I usually just try to avoid the subject. It's very uncomfortable, but it is what it is. And one of the things that Donald Trump could have done in order not to get these people elected is to stop it with the 51st state. At least just don't say the fucking thing. Like keep up the economic sanctions and keep up like the economic interests of the United States. But just stop saying the 51st state. Just stop saying that sentence until after the elections. And the reason I'm saying this is like you can see right here that while the young generation is worried about pretty much their future, like the economics, right? Like they're worried about the affordable cost of living. They're worried about the economy. They're worried about housing. They're worried about taxes, right? So like a big chunk is basically like, how am I going to feed myself and my family? This is what they're screaming at their politicians. It's not net zero. It's not environment. It's not like, dude, I need to get a job, right? This is why they're worried about immigration. It's like there's already a lot of shortages. It's already difficult for me to get a job. Now you're bringing more people to look for jobs. Like, what are we going to do? How are we going to feed our family? What is the answer for this, right? But this is the young generation. Now let's see how the older generation feels.
And you've got a few thousand people.
We're up around 7,000 right now. But David, just to show the viewers how it differs, just click on there on baby boomers.
Okay, so now we're saying this is all respondents. This is just people who are boomers. What do they think is the top issue?
Canada-U.S. relations. So you see one of the reasons why older people are...
Right. So like 43% of the boomers did not appreciate the 51st state comment. What can you do? It's right. They can vote. The 51st state was said once too many times. Like some of them, I know it's weird. Some of them may actually be patriotic. Like the older you are, the more you probably care about your nation state. And one of the main cultural points of Canada is that we're not American. Even though from the outside, and I'm telling you this from Europe, you kind of fucking are. Like if a European sees a Canadian and an American, we can't tell the difference. You are the 51st state. But for Canadians, no. Like Canadians, like their entire identity is we're not American. And so, yeah, like people actually do vote for moral reasons. Like there are times when people don't care about money, they don't care about the economy, they care about dignity. I know this is not something nice to hear. I know, this is not something pleasurable. But it's a fact. It's a given. And you have to take it into account, right? Like people do actually vote for dignity. And the 51st state was mentioned by Donald Trump, I think even one day before the election. Now, I don't know if he actually wanted this result, right? Like if he actually wanted Trudeau's party to keep winning, well, congratulations, he accomplished it. If he didn't want it, well, he's getting it. Or maybe he doesn't care. Who knows, right? Like, I'm trying to think from the perspective of Donald Trump. It seems that he actually does want Canada to become a 51st state. Like this is actually part of the plan. Whether he can achieve it or not, that's a different conversation. But like he actually de facto wants this to happen. And so if he wants this to happen, the question is like, who is he viewing as a person that he can negotiate with, right? Who's an easier person to negotiate with? Is it a liberal or a conservative? I think that's the way that the Trump administration views the elections. So I don't know. Maybe he genuinely wanted this outcome. Personally, if you're a Canadian, bad things are coming. That's my assessment. Listening to the new prime minister, listening to the speeches and stuff, and looking at what he previously did, I don't think he has an interest in increasing the living conditions of the middle class. I don't think like that's one of his interest things, and it's also like the middle class didn't vote for him, so why should he, right? Like at the end of the day, the boomers voted for him in order to maintain dignity. So, he will probably be more tough with Donald Trump. He will probably say stuff to him, but at the end of the day, he will follow his own personal interests. What are the personal interests? Net zero, with everything that entails. It is what it is. Britain 2.0, some people say. I probably expect more censorship, right? Like, probably he will go after even American social media companies, demand them that they censor more in Canada, because, like, people are going to be extremely unhappy. Like if the entire young generation wants economic stability and they're worried about food, and you're telling them, no, you're going to get environmentalism, a lot of people are going to be very unhappy. And so you need censorship. Like you can't just do without. And the things that Canadians are going to be able to say is going to decrease. Again, that's my prediction. That's what I think will happen, hypothetically. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think so. I think, like, yeah, you're going to get more censorship, more crackdown on American companies. The trade war is definitely going to intensify, and we'll see. You know, maybe this is the plan of the Trump administration. You know, get Canada to a point where things are so bad that joining the United States may seem like the only option. So if this is his plan, if this is what he wants, you know, like just completely crash Canada economically and well, maybe electing the, you know, maybe helping this guy get elected actually works. Anyway, right, let me know what you guys think. This is just my opinion. You know, I'm not Canadian. It's just like a person looking from the outside at the situation and trying to make sense of it. Let me know if I'm correct or not, and I'll see you guys in the comment section. Don't forget to check my pinned comment. It's the only way you can support my channel, unless you're Canadian. Please don't support my channel if you're Canadian, because you need every single dollar for the bad times that are coming. I'm not kidding. I'm serious. Take care.